Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tyria then. This is going to be episode 3. And it's going to be episode 3 again because your boy here, Aaron, forgot to hit the gosh darn record button when we did the entire fucking episode yesterday. So yeah, we did this already. But we're not quitters here at Tyria now / Tyria then / branding complication. So we're going to do it again, and we're not just gonna do it again, we're gonna do it better.
That's right.
Yeah. So we tightened up the nuts and bolts. We made some episode improvements. We didn't really. Miko went to an outpost. That's about it though. So
and I did a quest. What are you talking about? What?
That's true. Yeah, you did she did a whole quest, like a big quest too, like a big meaty, like a meat and potatoes out to dinner quest. Not just a microwave meal. Most of the quests that I ended up going back and doing were like microwave quests. Like you pop it in there for a minute and it's done. Yeah. So I'm Aaron, as always. Aaron, the warrior, big guy with a hammer. Miko is here with me.
Hello.
And she's shooting arrows and blowing shit up with fire magic.
Yeah.
So we are doing part 2 of getting through the Ascalonian story content, and honestly, a lot of side content too. I did all of it, and I think you did a few side things too, right, Miko?
I did.
Yeah. So we're not just kind of ham-fisting the story. We're blowing through all sorts of places that the game doesn't even take you to. We did a little bit of exploring. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Last episode, we finished we did Great Northern Wall, and then we did Fort Rannick, right?
Yep.
And Fort Rannick has us defending the wall against a bunch of char. We blow them up with trebuchets, and then we kill the boss at the end, and we have a chit-chat with Prince Rurik, and he's like, I'm going. I don't care what you guys are doing, but I'm going. And we'd better get after him, because the theme of the story of this episode is Prince Rurik doing his absolute damnedest to get himself slain.
Yes.
And we got to protect him. So we're charging off after him. He's headed somewhere called Sirmia, and we get dropped off by the loading screen taxi in the illustrious city of Frontier Gate, which is really just it's like a town square with a portal. One thing I did notice at the Frontier Gate is there's a few NPCs that are from pre-Searing Ascalon. Spence, the merchant, and Elias, the weapons guy, are in Frontier Gate, and in pre-Searing, Spence was the Ashford Abbey merchant, and Elias was the Ascalon City weapons dude. So that's mildly interesting. Once we get
around, and they're still doing their thing.
Bingo. Yep. I did also see Mirik the Shouter running around yelling about the Flameseeker prophecies, like you mentioned.
He's no joke.
Yeah.
He's very concerned.
Yeah, he's got big, he would have a podcast if it was 2023, 2024, right? He would be he would be sitting here in his basement doing exactly what we're doing right now. So I really shouldn't be shit-talking on podcasters, should I? So
then we're on poor Mirik because he's, concerned for the future of Tyria.
Right. Yeah. No, he's doing his best. He means well, and to be fair, he's right. We need to heed the Flameseeker prophecies. That's kind of the entire point of the whole game, guys. Guild Wars prophecies. And one of our not really an NPC, but a dude we run into in the last mission will actually mention the Flameseeker prophecies in this episode. So it's just gonna be kind of a recurring thing that keeps coming up, that we're gonna keep being like, hey guys, Flameseeker, am I a Flameseeker? ? I think I might be. So once we get dropped off in Frontier Gate fugitives, what do you do first? What's your reaction?
So I went over to talk to War Master Riga, because he's a War Master. He should know where things are, and plus he's got a little Exclamation point over his head.
There's a lot of fluctuation to the War Master rank, I feel like. Like, you got...
Yeah.
Like, any old guy seems to be a War Master, but also War Master Titus is like the right-hand man to the king. It's kind of a big role, right? It can go all the way from the bottom, like rank 1 War Master, to rank 5 Brigadier War Master. I don't know. I think it's like general, kind of, somewhere in that ballpark. I wonder if Duke Baradin was ever a War Master. Maybe you have to go from War Master to Duke. I don't know. I don't know how the Ascalonian nobility works.
Yeah.
He has some quests.
He does, and he is a hard ass, is what I think. Because he's determined to stay the course at his garrison. He will not fall. Neither will his men. No one was going to be leaving their posts, and Frontier Gate is not going to lose anyone.
Yeah, he's
determined.
Yeah, he's like a military man, right? Like a classical military man, like a British officer fighting Napoleon, right?
Right.
He's got like that sort of energy. And he wants us to track down a couple dudes that deserted. He's like, don't desert my unit, right? Not me. Not War Master Riga. I hunt my deserters down. We do a lot of deserter hunting down in this episode, don't we?
We do, yeah.
We do a couple of... There's a lot of people deserting the Ascalon military. I can't say I blame them. The Char are like 4 times the size of a human being.
Yeah.
If my nation was under attack by the Char, I think I would move.
Well, and that's not even like they're in size. They're much bigger, but they have the greater numbers.
Yeah, no, I imagine they do. Because Ascalon was hit by the Searing. That must have wiped out God knows how much of the Ascalonian population.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they must be pretty hard pressed right now. Meanwhile, the Char are fine. Like, we had no retaliation against the Char on an equivalent scale whatsoever, right? The war against the Char, guys, not going good. In... I don't know what year, 1025 AE or something, whatever it is right now. I don't keep up.
No, but yeah. So things are going. Things are not going well for the Ascalonians, and yet Adalbern just keeps throwing people, thinking we are determined to get these feline beasts out of our nation, out of our kingdom. We were going to rebuild, and we're going to retake it all.
He's extremely confident. Yeah. 100%. Because he doesn't, like you said, Adalbern doesn't just want to push the Char back. He wants to, like, go north of the wall and take the power back, right? He's been listening to Rage Against the Machine. He's been lifting weights. Like, he's ready to go. He's been drinking Red Bull. Somebody needs to get Adalbern in line. He's too old to be drinking Red Bull.
Yeah, it's not good for you. Lots of sugar and caffeine. But so what did you think of War Master Riga's quest to go and after these Frontier Gate fugitives?
I thought it made me run around a lot.
Yeah.
I should just put the uncut footage of me running out to Footman Tate and running back, and then running back out to the other footman, Quinn. Yeah, it's like 28 solid minutes of jogging and killing Devourers.
Right. So many Devourers.
Yep, Devourers are the theme of this episode, if anybody is wondering. We usually have a bestiary segment in the show. Usually here meaning I did it in one episode. There's one new enemy type. We'll talk about him when we start talking about the Pockmarked Flats area. But otherwise, the enemies are pretty static in the Ascalonian region. A lot more of the same. More Char, more Devourers.
More gargoyles.
More gargoyles, yeah.
More Grawl?
And more Grawl. Oh my god, the Grawl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the entire echelon of enemies in the Ascalon. And more Stone Elementals.
Yes.
So, and again, as we mentioned last episode, Stone Elemental, if you haven't seen them in the footage yet, they look exactly like you think they do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, did you go after Footman Tate first?
I did, because he was closer.
Right.
He is in the eastern frontier region, and you still have to hoof it out there to get him. But he you can convince him at least to come back with you.
Yeah, and you get a few different dialogue options for him.
Yeah, which I found interesting because the only one that he'll actually listen to is "Don't worry, it'll be okay," and so it's like, why are you giving me the option to tell him, "Don't make me hurt you"?
Yeah,
don't make me kill you.
Because the game engine does not allow you to role play enough to pick a dialogue option and let an outcome play out. There has to be an outcome attached to only one dialogue option. Because I'm like a meathead, right? So I'm like, don't make me kill you, bro.
Right.
And Footman Tate is just non-reactive to this. He's like, do it. What's up? And I don't know if you can attack him or not. I didn't. I
didn't
just
either.
Yeah, I don't think there's like 2 different shades of green on a allied person. There's like a light green that you can't attack, and then there's like a darker green like that comes with tameable pets that you can totally attack. So I don't think you can attack Footman Tate. So yeah, you gotta rub his back and tell him everything will be all right, and sing a few rounds of Kumbaya, and then he will trot back to the Frontier Gate with you. Naming the outpost the Frontier Gate and then naming the region the Eastern Frontier is throwing me for almost as big of a loop as you have to run to complete this quest.
Yeah. The thing with Footman Tate, though, since you ran him back, right? Because I did.
Yeah.
I ran him back before I continued on. He will at least help you fight Devourers.
I do. Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So at least he is another, not a henchman, but he's another thing that can, hit and do a little bit of damage.
Yeah. I just want them to pull their weight, like they don't have to do all the heavy lifting. If you're going to be with me, you need to swing your sword. That's all. That's all I'm asking for.
And swing your sword again. Right.
Bingo. Yes. Footman Colin has joined the party.
Yes.
That's good. I like Footman Qualin. Footman Qualin? My eyes are on Footman Quinn. I'm thinking Footman Colin, and we've come up with Footman Qualin, who is a character. A character that I hope to God we never meet. No. But yeah, you got to run Footman Tate back. He does fight. I have a little bullet point that says he fights. It was like a smiley face.
Yeah.
And I ran by a fun boss named Fester Fang, which I think is an Ace's boss name. He's a devourer, and I couldn't get to him because he was up on a cliff.
Yeah. I think I may have hit him. I can't remember if I actually killed him. I may have killed him, but then I can't remember if I was able to loot if he dropped anything for me, because he was up on that cliff, but I've got arrows, so. Right,
yeah. If enemies are up on cliffs, it's a no-go for me. I mean, I could let Orion, nuke them down, but ain't nobody got time for that. Right. So I did not do that. But yeah, we run Footman Tate back because this is Guild Wars, and if you try to take him through a portal with you, you'll have to do it over again. Yes. And that's not fun. So yeah, you can't transition quest objectives through loading screens. It resets quests. So once you find Tate, you have to run him back, and then you have to run all the way back because you find Tate near the portal to the area you need to go to find Quinn. Yes. So that's just fantastic. And then who else do we meet near the portal to Pockmarked Flats?
So near the portal to Pockmarked Flats, you find Sin and Menlo, who you may have encountered in pre-searing. Sin being an elementalist, and Menlo being a monk. And they are out there, kind of not happy with a caravan guard who abandoned his caravan. They
are giving him what for?
They are. Yeah, they're like, you abandoned the caravan in the middle of a fight. You just ran off. And they're like, and the guy's like, well, there were storm riders everywhere. I could have been killed. And it's like, you're a guard. It's your job, man. What are you doing? So they're not amused at all.
Yeah, Sin and Menlo are like, bro, Storm Riders ain't shit. All right, we eat Storm Riders for breakfast.
Right.
Storm Riders, for anybody curious, they're kind of a new enemy type that we haven't run across yet. I personally think they look a lot like the Sentinels from the Matrix. They're floating squid dudes, and they make like they kind of have gross sound effects.
Yeah,
they're like squishy sounding.
Yeah, and they're mesmers is what I wrote down. Mesmer magic, but they also do spike damage with lightning magic.
Yeah, it's you can tell by the sound, the projectile. This is like burned into my memory. Right. There's a specific sound that each projectile type makes, and theirs makes the lightning sound for sure. Yeah. Probably related to the whole storm thing they've got going on. Yes. But generally those tentacle floaty enemy types, riders, they're all called some type of rider, are mesmers. And they will recur in differing levels throughout the game.
Yes.
And they just get worse.
They do. Yeah. They're like the, you know how we don't like the Devourer's sounds when they come crawling up out of the ground because they're everywhere. Once you get to the part of the game where you just keep running into riders, you're like, I can't stand these kings.
You know, it's true, and at this point in Ascalon, I have listened to that Devourer pop-up sound effect so many times, I'm like 98% sure they used crinkling tinfoil as a part of that sound effect.
Yeah, it could well be, yeah.
Like, there's a tinfoil crackle in that sound effect, 100%. Whoever does sound at ArenaNet, reach out to us and prove me wrong. We're on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say I do like the ArenaNet sound engineers. They always come up with some really good things.
Yeah, I remember a few promo videos they did of the sound engineering for Guild Wars 2, like several years ago. And they were doing wild. Someone was like lassoing a fireball in their yard.
Yeah,
it was wild. Yeah. It looks like a fun job. Unfortunately, I am not a qualified audio engineer, so I have no hope in hell of ever getting to lasso fireballs in my backyard.
No.
Damn shame.
So once you get once you run into Quinn, what happens?
Yeah, so I barrel through the Pockmark Flats. I help Sin and Menlo save their caravan. It's a very easy, simple quest. You just buffet some Wind Riders. They finish chewing out the guard. The caravan merchant gives us a reward. It's only like 200 XP, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. And he's literally just on the other side of the portal, so you don't even have to go that far. Yeah,
it's not a complicated quest. No. So we get to check in with Sin and Menlo a little bit. We say hi. They're level 10. They're much better than us. They're like, we don't have time for you. Go find Quinn. They don't actually tell us to go find Quinn, but it's the next thing we have to do. Pockmark Flats, the explorable area. Pretty cool area, I think.
Yeah.
Mega huge searing crystal, like smack dab in the middle.
And in the middle, yep.
It's pretty neat. It looks like something from like outer space. It looks like something on a planet of some sort.
Yeah.
And we gotta run right past this thing to try and find Footman Quinn. And these searing crystals are all over Ascalon. I don't know if we've talked about them a whole lot yet. But they're pretty wild. They basically rain from the sky during the searing when the Char did their cauldron, like toil and trouble ritual, right?
Right.
And they're like purple and blue, and they look like they taste like batteries.
Yeah, and they've pretty much they've scorched the earth, obviously. But there are often a lot of waterways that are around them, so who knows if they like got down into like, the ground tap, underwater courseways, and the water is essentially just poisoned. You get slow effect put on you whenever you're moving through either the water or in other areas, tar. Yeah,
all the water in Ascalon is black, and it's a tar. If you mouse over the effect in the corner of your screen, it says like slowing tar or something like that. So the searing definitely had some sort of effect on the water, like at least the standing water in Ascalon, and I think it being from the searing crystals is probably a pretty good solid theory, because that shit looks irradiated as fuck.
Yeah. It really does. It looks like it's just nuclear.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ascalon does kind of resemble a nuclear holocaust
It
outcome.
really does, yeah.
It looks like a Fallout game, honestly. So that's kind of a good comparison. Is if you haven't played Guild Wars 1 yet, it's just like Fallout New Vegas. Pick it up. It's on Steam for like $3. But yeah, we blow through Pockmark Flats and we find Footman Quinn on like the way other side, like other end of the football field type shit. You got to run really far, and he's hostile by default.
Yeah. So there's no convincing him.
Yeah, we could talk to Footman Tate. Footman Quinn is not having it. He sees me coming from like hundreds of feet away, and he's already made his decision. He's
gonna go down swinging.
Yeah. I think he had a hammer for me. What did he have for you?
I had a hammer as well.
Did he have a ram's hammer?
Yes.
I have a vivid memory of Footman Quinn having a ram's hammer. I don't know why this imprinted on me so much.
Well, and Tate was, I think, a sword wielder, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah. And I think it was just Footman Quinn coming at my much higher level. He's like level 5, right? Yeah. And he's just running solo at my much higher level party with this hammer. Like, what are you going to do, bud? You okay?
Yeah. No, he's not okay. He's dead.
He's very dead. Yeah, unfortunate.
So that's the end of those two, but I kind of hope that Tate gets another chance. Well, then we told him it was going to be okay.
Yeah, because we had to kind of rub his back a little bit and pat his knee and help him along, and that's kind of the message that Riga gives to us when we turn this quest in to War Master Riga. He says there's still hope for Tate. Right. So I think Tate is going to be okay. He's just gonna have to go to like prison camp, right? Right. Do some work in the tar pits.
Right. For the deserters.
Yeah, God knows
repent
what.
Of his sins or whatever.
Like with how zealous Adelburn is. Adelburn? I don't know. Adelburn. Yeah, Adelburn. Adelburn's much better. Adelburn is no. But yeah, with how zealous Adelburn is about winning the war, I bet he goes pretty hard on deserters.
I mean, if he doesn't, you've got Riga and Titus to go after them because they're both a bit.
Yeah, Titus is. I mean, we already talked about how much of an ass Titus is, but yeah, I don't like War Master Titus, and I like him even less after this episode. So we get the Frontier Gate Fugitives quest done, and that's kind of the only quest there is to do. I think it's the only quest to do out of Frontier Gate, isn't it?
Yeah, because the other one is the quest to get to Ruins of Sirmia that he gives you.
Right, yeah, because the game strings you along with primary quests, so you get a primary quest to go like 10 feet over to Ruins of Sirmia. While you were in the Pockmark Flats, did you go to Serenity Temple?
Yes, I did. I popped in there because of some nostalgia, and also I was like, yay, outpost. And there are some profession quests that you can pick up there for like mesmers and elementalists. And there are 2 of the statues of the gods. You've got the statue of Dwayna, and you can kneel and then interact with the avatar, and then the statue of Melandru. And you get the tree-looking thing that comes up.
The Ent. Yeah, the Tolkienian Ent. Yeah. The avatar of Melandru is like a big tree guy. He's like a. They're really weird looking, actually. ArenaNet's like 5 polygon interpretation of what a tree being should look like is interesting. And when I was in Sardallac Sanitarium last episode, I could get a quest from the avatar of Dwayna there. Did either of these avatars give quests?
No, unfortunately not.
Yeah, ever since that that Avatar of Dwayna quest that I was able to do in Old Ascalon, I'm like 0 for 3 on God Avatar quests now. I kneeled at both these in Serenity Temple, nothing, and I like slaughtered like an entire village of Grawl so I could kneel at Alyssa Shrine in Eastern Frontier.
Yeah, I did
and
that as well.
and
And
that
nothing.
yeah, there's nothing from that Lissa's muse, which is the name of Lissa's avatar, and it's just Lissa's avatar is just like a purple box.
Yeah,
it's very bizarre, because Lissa's supposed to be the goddess of like beauty,
illusion,
and illusion, and she's a square. But that's it's up to her. It's not my. Who am I to cast judgment and aspersion?
right? Because her whole thing is like mirrors, right?
That's true. Yeah, she does like her a mirror, doesn't she? So she's chosen to manifest as like a literal bathroom mirror.
Right.
That's good, actually. I quite like it. So yeah, I ran around Serenity Temple a bit. There's nothing here for warriors. Like you said, there's quests if you're certain professions, but warriors, there's pretty much no reason to go here. I did notice that some of the NPCs, including the High Priestess, are level 20, which is an interesting choice. It has no bearing on anything as far as I'm aware, but it's just, it stands out. It's weird, right? It makes me think ArenaNet was just like popping NPCs in last minute before release, and they just dropped a couple of fully leveled NPCs in.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I did have to do at this temple, which was probably the most interesting thing that I did this whole episode, just because of how bizarre it is if you go and talk to War Master Titus, and Miko has already heard me talk about this quest, but we're going to do it again.
Okay.
So if you go talk to War Master Titus in Ascalon again, he's got another quest for you. Another one. And I don't know what trips this quest. It could be you need to have been to Serenity Temple. It could be you need to have done a certain mission. I don't know. But he's got another quest for me. And he wants me... I want to pull this up just so I don't misquote anything. This quest is called Troublesome Artifact.
Yes.
And Titus informs me that Ambassador Zane, the Crichton ambassador whose camp we stopped at the beginning of last episode, has been trading something among the Ascalonian people called Eldritch Sextants.
Yes.
And apparently Adelburn has banned the trade of Eldritch Sextants. I don't know what qualifies a sextant as Eldritch. I don't know what these sextants do, given that a sextant is generally a navigational tool while at sea, and we are in possibly the most opposite of the sea it's possible to be. Yeah. But Ambassador Zane is trading these, and they're selling like hotcakes, apparently, and Adelburn has to ban them. Ambassador Zane's into some weird shit.
And the wiki, well, I'm looking at the wiki for the quest here. It says Titus tells you he's been giving strange artifacts to our merchants in lieu of gold.
Right, so, yeah, my man's he's like running low on funds.
But
I got these Eldritch Sextants.
No, he's got these Eldritch Sextants, and then there's another quest that you can pick up from, I think it's from Zane, where you have to take a strongbox over to Gateguard Hollis.
I did do this, yeah.
Yeah, and I ran it earlier because I was like, oh, it's Zane again. Let's see what he has to say for himself. And he basically is trying to bribe Hollis with a boatload of gold. So he's got money, but it seems like he's just using it to bribe whoever he thinks are the right people.
Right, because he tells Hollis during that quest that he needs like protection or something, right?
Right.
Yeah, and he gives you this chest, and he's like, "There's evidence in here that there's a threat to my person," and it's just a chest full of gold. And Hollis is like, "I gotcha."
The jingle of gold, and I was like, "Bruh, you're selling out."
Right, and I think it's hilarious that Ambassador Zane just has because he's got like a couple of wagons there at his camp, right? He's like, "Well, I got this wagon full of Eldritch Sextants. I'm not doing anything with them. Let's use them for trading."
Zane is a shady character.
Yeah, and he's introduced, because when he's introduced to us, he's like, I'm an ambassador. I'd like Kryda and Ascalon to be friends. I'm very helpful. I'm a nice person. And then the more you learn about him, the more you're like, I don't know about this man.
Yeah, he seems... I'm starting to question his motives.
I'm starting to question his Eldritch Sextants. Sorry, I can't get over the term Eldritch Sextant. It's so funny. But yeah, Titus gives me an Eldritch Sextant to take to the High Priestess at Serenity Temple, and she's like, "Thank you, I'll take a look at it." And then I go back to Titus and I tell him, "Hey, she's going to take a look at it," and that's the end of the quest. We don't really get any resolution on them, and I feel like that quest perfectly illustrates like my typical day at work. You have a problem, you take it to the person in the company who that's related to, and they're like, "Thanks, I'll take a look," and then you're like, "Okay."
There's no follow-up to this quest, right?
Nope, just like real life.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Like you'd think that there would be a follow-up with the priestess who says, "I'll check it out and let Titus know," that you would be able to go and talk to her later and pick up a quest so you could find out what was it that she found out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe this pays off at some point. I doubt it, but maybe. Maybe it does. I'll withhold judgment, except that I've already extolled judgment, so it doesn't really hold, does it? It's a fascinating quest from a terminology perspective. Let's put it that way. So yeah, we kind of run around Serenity Temple. Not much going on there. We find some footmen for War Master Riga. We kill one of them. And then at that point we need to, I think the only quest we have left to do is our primary quest, to move forward to Sirmia, where Rurik has run off to.
And did you find it weird? I found it weird. That there are signposts all over Ascalon pointing the way. Granted, helpful for the player character. Hey, where am I going? But also, hey Ascalon, you've just been invaded or nuked. Why are you leaving your signposts up so that the enemy can find where your cities are?
If anything, they should be taking signs down.
You'd think so.
They should be out there.
Or broken on the ground or something, but no, they're all like nicely up and everything.
Guild Wars 1 Living World taking signs down. Okay, much better than Guild Wars 2 Living World putting signs up.
Wow, yes, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Implement. I think ArenaNet should start implementing Living World updates to Guild Wars 1. Changed my mind.
That would be good.
It would. It's never going to happen, but it would be fantastic.
It would be interesting. It would be fun.
Yes.
Anyway.
Their late Guild Wars 1 updates were kind of Living World, right? Like the War in Kryda and all that. That was like what that is, I think, kind of.
Sort of.
But yeah, we go running off after Rurik. I did follow the signs, funnily enough. Because if you follow the Sirmia sign, you go to Sirmia, and if you follow the... I don't even know.
Eastern Frontier.
Yeah, does the sign just say... Does the sign just say Eastern Frontier?
It does.
Like, it's just like, Sirmia, fucking wilderness. And those are the only two.
Hang a left over here for Sirmia.
Right.
Continue your story. Go find the footman. Make a right.
Right, yeah. The sign should just say Renegade Footman. But yeah, I went over to Sirmia, and I think you got to bring the quest to the captain there, right? He's like the only NPC in the whole place.
Yeah. Mikan. I'm going to call him Mikan.
Nicken?
Mikan?
Mikan?
Mike N. I wonder if he's named after a dev.
That's entirely likely. Yeah. Maybe Mike O'Brien's middle name starts with an N.
I don't know. Possible. But we talked to Captain Mikan. And he tells us that Rurik's already gone on ahead to find the Char, and he's left orders to send any and all available soldiers to rendezvous.
This is such typical Rurik.
Or I'm going to go and find them on my own. And you're like, what are you doing, Prince Rurik? You're going to get yourself killed.
That's all he does. It's all he's good at, is running headlong into the enemy very far away from the player character.
Yeah.
So I clicked the intermission button because, of course, I must go after him. He's my prince.
Yes. Right. And I don't want Mycon to lose his job.
No, Mycon's got kids to feed.
I mean, he's up there on his soapbox. He's probably just trying to keep his salary coming in to,
I do love that every mission outpost has a podium for the quest receiver to stand on.
Who do I need to talk to?
Yeah.
Talk to the guy in the soapbox.
The mission context podium.
Yeah.
Every mission outpost. I like this. I like a good format to a game, right? Mm-hmm. So in the Ruins of Sirmia mission, the mission starts out with us and Rurik, and first things first, right? This is a Guild Wars Ascalon mission. We gotta wade through an army of Devourers before the story even starts.
Yes.
So we do that. Rurik's pretty good at this, as he's level 10, right? So he's just shredding through stuff. Not really in danger yet. But then we start fighting Char after the Devourers.
And this is where Rurik starts to get dangerous.
Yeah.
For the player character, because you have to protect him.
Yeah, and he'll just run from enemy to enemy. I don't know if he runs ahead of you in this mission, but he will double aggro while he's running around fighting stuff.
Yeah, and he will sometimes run on ahead of you, and you're like, where are you going?
Yeah, you're
running headlong into all of those Char. See them all? There are a lot of them.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the AI, because sometimes he'll run ahead and sometimes he'll stay with you. It's bizarre. I have had some bizarre issues with the enemy AI in this game. I don't know if you ever encountered the Grawl that will just start running away from you if they get too low health.
Yes.
They'll run over to another group of Grawl.
Heal me.
Yeah, friends. No, like the Grawl AI and in particularly the old Ascalon region is way too self-preservative.
That's funny.
It's unnerving. Just fun, cheeky aside about the Grawl AI. Anyway, do you know what a Chayot is, Miko?
I don't.
I don't either. So as I mentioned at the top of the show, we botched the recording for this yesterday. We did the whole episode, and I asked this question then too, and neither of us have looked up what a Chayot is.
I mean, I googled and it said something about it's a German term, but I still don't know. Like, I'm like, okay, great.
Guild Wars was kind of big in Germany, to be fair.
Yeah, well, it still is.
Not before it came out, though.
Well, but the thing is that, but this is a type of Char enemy.
Yeah, they're called Chayots, the Mesmers. It's a Char Chayot. Chayot? Chat?
Maybe Chayot?
Maybe it's Chout.
Or Chaos.
Yeah, maybe were they supposed to be called Char Chaos, and a dev just typoed and nobody noticed until post-release, and it was just at the bottom of the priority list of things to fix and never made it high enough.
I'm gonna say that one is not a typo because the S and the T aren't close to each other on the keyboard, but still, like, I don't know what. Anyways, okay.
It's a bizarre name for an enemy. I find that fascinating when ArenaNet does this, because there's a few different enemies that we'll encounter in this game where I'm like, what were they thinking with this naming convention?
Yeah.
It happens in Guild Wars. It's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some logic in the internal wiki that they have.
Oh yeah, there must be. The same type of logic that applies to Menzies being pronounced Mingus. But we'll get into that way later, like 20 episodes down the line. For now, we'll just let that fester. Yep. And we got to go free some prisoners in this mission.
Yes.
And there's a particular prisoner who's the last one we free. Well, we free the mages after him, but we got to free a guy named Errol.
Like Errol Flynn.
Like Errol Flynn, but not swashbuckling.
No.
And not dashing.
But he's seen some shit, you can tell.
Yeah, he looks rough.
He really does.
He's very rumpled.
Clothes.
Yeah, disheveled. His eyes are haunted.
And haunted, that's a good word. How long has he been trapped by the Char? Imprisoned by the Char?
Since the beginning of the searing. 2 years. Like, over 2 years. He's been doing slave labor for Char. So, and we'll show him on the screen here. My cat is meowing. Hello, buddy.
I hear him.
Yeah, he wants to play.
Yeah.
He's a playful man. But Errol has been enslaved by the Char. He is rough looking. And I just wanted to mention that given the graphics of the time, it's very impressive how tortured they make this man look.
Yeah.
He looks rough
on the character design.
Yeah, he looks rough. He really communicates what they're going for, I think.
Yes.
And so we free him, and he's going to help us push forward against the Char. He lets Rurik know that he's the one that tells us that the Stormcaller is in the area, right?
Yeah, but I don't think we find out about it until later, once we get through the portal, right? Or into Nolani.
Oh, okay.
But he knows the way, or he knows where they're at, and he can lead us because he knows where the Char are hiding out.
Yeah, it was kind of a chicken-egg situation. I didn't know if the Stormcaller came before or after, but we'll find that at the conclusion of this mission. But yeah, we have to follow Errol because he knows the way to escape the situation that Rurik has landed us in.
Yes.
And this mission also has a bonus.
Yes.
And did we do the bonus?
We did because we want the XP.
We did. We do it for the XP. Yeah.
That's right.
We really do. So the bonus for this mission, you got to like run over to the side and there's a lady to talk to. I wasn't able to talk to her. The dialogue bugged out, but it still gave me the bonus to complete.
Yeah.
She
basically tells you that the Char are patrolling. There is a group that comes through every so often, and they carry a flame out to their flame temple to keep their flame alive. And basically she tells you, if you take them out, maybe we can turn the tide.
Yes.
And you're like, okay.
And then we follow the Flame Keepers. So there's a group of Flame Keepers,
Yes.
Walking very slowly.
Yes.
Towards the gate. So we need to follow them without killing them because we need them to open a very flimsy wooden gate that I could totally bash down with my hammer.
Right.
But we have to have them open it, right?
Yes.
So we gotta kind of inch along behind them, and there's enemies that they walk by that you will have to fight to get to them. And how did that go for you, Miko?
Not well. I attacked them a little bit too soon. The Ember Bearers were still within their toes, were still within their own little bubble of aggro, and they turned on me. And even though I tried to disengage and run away, my character got stuck. I had wisely flagged my henchmen away from me so that they wouldn't go off half-cocked, and yeah, so they killed me, the Ember Bears and their little friends of Char, and they killed my pet. And then once they de-aggroed, I brought my little henchman over with the flag, and Alicia, bless her, she rezzed me, thankfully.
Alicia pulling it out.
Yes.
Getting it done.
A+, remembering to flag the henchmen so that they, just in case things went awry.
I am getting to the point with Alicia where she is starting to die relatively frequently.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure because you're a warrior, she kind of will follow after you to get herself in danger.
So every Char engagement, because every Char group is kind of similar, they all have like a mix of casters and meleeers and rangers. Yeah. There's always two meleeers, though. There's always two guys that run up and hit things, and we run past each other when we engage, because they go straight for Alicia and I go straight for their shaman, right? So we kind of like nod to each other. We do like the bro nod to each other as we run past to kill each other's healers.
Right.
And sometimes they'll get Alicia. Sometimes they really just eat her lunch.
Yeah.
Poor thing. Yeah, so luckily the henchmen seem to come equipped with res signet, so they're usually able to get her back. And I'm usually able to kill the enemy backline while my henchmen fend for themselves back there.
Right.
I didn't over aggro, so I was able to kill everything, no problem. Over aggroing is going to be the bane of our existence in this game. It's something you learn very painfully over many years playing Guild Wars. You live and die by the little bubble around your character on the minimap.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very important stuff. And yeah, once you get through this gate, you can kill the Flame Keepers. I think you let them go all the way to the ziggurat thing, right?
I did, because I couldn't remember. Again, a lot of things I don't remember. I couldn't remember if I had to stop them before they got to the ziggurat, or if I had to let them go all the way up and let them carry the flame up, like do the exchange, and then take them out. But by the time I got there, they were just chilling at the bottom of the ziggurat, and the Flame Keepers are up there. And I was like, well, they've got their little flame that they were carrying, and the ziggurat guys, they're keeping the flame up on the ziggurat going. There doesn't seem to be an exchange. What do I do? I had to go and Google and find somebody else's little Let's Play, because I couldn't remember and the wiki wasn't telling me. And yeah, I was like, I don't know. I don't want to screw this up and then have to redo the entire mission.
You gave them too much time.
I did.
I as soon as they opened the gate, I immediately killed them. And then I ran over and killed the guys on the pyramid. There is a little, and that completes the bonus. Yeah. I don't think I went back and talked to the bonus lady. Did you go back and talk to her?
I did, because even after I let them get all the way up there, I could still kill them and the keepers up top, and I still got credit for the bonus. But I wasn't sure if I needed to go report back to the lady. So I went, and she had nothing new to say. She told me the exact same dialogue about the patrol going through and go and take them out. And I said, okay, great, thanks.
She wasn't seriously invested in the task she was giving you.
No, and I'm like, you do realize I just took them out. Why are you telling me to take them out again?
You walked up to this woman, and she was just like, what do you want, a quest? What?
Yeah.
You want something to do? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she just sent us on our way without any real conviction.
Pretty much. So after that, I just went to try and find a way to let Rurik and Errol across the bridge.
Right, because
they wanted us to do.
Yeah, kind of the main way to go is going past that bonus NPC and up and around. I took the sneaky way out the back of the bonus completion area.
And I took the long way because I went back to talk to the NPC.
At that point, it just makes sense to go that way anyway.
Yeah.
And then you can kill some more char. Lower the bridge for Rurik and Errol. They'll run across. There's some mages for us to free from like a prison cell that's just kind of sitting there. Mm-hmm. We kill the char. We free the mages, and the portal that we need to escape from is locked behind a door in the middle of this it looks like an arena, right? It looks like a place where you would play like a strange game of some sort.
Yeah, because the entire point is we've gone up to, because we're now at a Nolani Academy, and Rurik has kind of hatched a plan on the fly. He's going to use the mages to power up the obelisk to clear groups of char that come up, and use that to bide some time so that he can do a channel ritual thing to get the portal to power up to get us over from Sirmia to the academy. So it's yeah.
And I believe these guys are called the Flaming Scepter Mages.
Yes.
Which is the most Harry Potter sounding fucking name I've ever heard. It's amazing.
They take their job serious about protecting their little obelisk.
They take their job so seriously that their flaming scepters have staff attack animations.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. I don't know if any of them have that, but I did catch Orion attacking with his wand with staff animations,
Right.
which I thought was very funny.
Yeah.
Orion, 10 out of 10 henchman. He has banger one-liners.
He does.
My favorite Orion line so far is, hard work pays off in the future, but laziness pays off now. I live and die by that statement.
I like when he says that he's bored whenever we're taking a break.
Yeah, he's great. I'm a big Orion fan, big Orion supporter here at Tyria then. So we these mages get set up at these obelisks, these little they look kind of like camping lanterns, right? Yeah,
they're like platforms with like 3 pillars, and at the top it's like that, you know, that electric ball of static that you from the old science experiments that you can just like go and put your hands on and then it shoots out electricity.
Yeah, there's a name for those and I couldn't tell you what it is.
I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically 3 of those little those balls at the top of each cylinder on each platform, and they basically sizzle any char that get close.
Except they don't, because we have to kill all the char that get close.
Yeah, but you do get a little sizzle animation, and they kind of do.
Do they do damage? Like, do they actually damage the char?
Spike. Yeah, if they get too close, and if you're, but if you're not quick, you can lose your mages.
Did you lose your mages?
I lost one.
Damn.
And then I thought, oh no. Because I hadn't zoomed out my camera wide enough, so I hadn't seen that there was a group attacking one of the mages, and he died. And I said, oh no, I don't want to lose all 3 of them. Time to get serious. So I didn't want to redo the mission.
I committed to my directorial decision of playing as zoomed in as possible. Not first person, but like 2 zooms out from that. Like the closest you can get while still being able to see the whole character.
Right.
I just did like a manic, like I just ran from obelisk to obelisk, just in a continual rotation. And I managed to get all the char groups without... I don't think I lost anyone, but I also wasn't paying that much attention because I was focused so much on killing the char that I wasn't actually watching to see whether the mages lived or died. Who knows? Maybe most of them died. I don't know. But enough of them survived for me to complete the mission. The thing about this that gave me the most anxiety was not the attacking char. It was that Prince Rurik is opening the door with a spell while you defend him and the mages against the char, essentially. Yeah. So it's kind of like a chain reaction, right? The mages defend Prince Rurik and we defend the mages.
Right.
And Rurik starts charging a skill, like you can see it activating beneath his health bar if you select him. And if you mouse over this ability, it says its cast time is 20 minutes. So I'm freaking out, right? I'm like, there's no way. There's no way I have to sit here and kill Char for 20 minutes without a single mage dying. Luckily, it is not 20 minutes. I don't know why they coded that skill to look like 20 minutes, because it just gave me a panic attack.
Maybe that was why.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, just to like, it's not even a sense of urgency because I'm stuck here for 20 minutes. It's a sense of misery. It's a sense of imprisonment.
Right.
But yeah, it's only like 5 minutes that you have to defend from the Char, and then the door opens and you get a cutscene. And we all charge through the door, except the mages.
Except the mages, yeah.
We leave those mages behind.
They have to do their job. Their one job is to sit on the obelisks and sizzle the Char. I'm just
gonna throw it out there. Those mages are dead. Absolutely, those mages are dead.
But once we're through, and the Char are barred out, Errol makes a discovery.
He does, yeah. He's a bit of an Indiana Jones type, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, yes, that's very good.
He finds the Dial of Destiny. No, he finds the mouthpiece of not a war horn so much as like, you guys ever seen Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a big horn in that movie. It's like the size of a building. We find the mouthpiece to a building-sized horn.
Yes. The mouthpiece of Stormcaller.
Yes. And Errol says that the Stormcaller is capable of destroying the Char. He uses this terminology. He says this could destroy the Char. That's an interesting assertion that we're going to examine in the next mission.
Yeah. Now, when you got to, because once you complete Thermia successfully, you get instantly ported over into Nolani Academy for that mission. Did you go over and talk to Flaming Scepter Mage Danon?
I believe I did. Yeah. Because it's Danon that says Stormcaller is the mouthpiece of the legendary Horn of King Doric. So the mouthpiece is called Stormcaller. The horn is called the Horn of King Doric. Is that correct? Or did I interpret this wrong?
It says...
Or is the whole deal just called Stormcaller?
The whole deal was called Stormcaller. He says, the horn is a powerful weapon. They say that the sounds of the billowing pipes will render helpless the enemies of Ascalon. The mouthpiece was lost during the last guild war, but now that it's been found, it could help us defend the capital.
Does he say anything about King Doric? I swear to God.
Hang on, I've got his whole dialogue up here. He says the horn was placed outside of Rin before the Great Northern Wall was built. It was the last line of defense against invaders.
Why did
if only we'd found Stormcaller before the searing, is what he says.
Why did I write that it's the legendary Horn of King Doric?
I mean, it could well be.
I'm over here writing my own lore. I don't know. ArenaNet, hire me. I would love to come and falsify all of your lore documents.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bighorn, Stormcaller, Helm's Deep type of thing, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we got to go do for the Nolani Academy mission. Flaming Scepter Mage Danon is our podium man for this episode. For this mission. He's our second or third podium man for this episode. So you talk to him. Not much else going on in that outpost. There's an intermission. I did not do the mission right away. I left into Diesa Lowlands and fiddled around in there in the Breach and Piken Square for a little bit. You did a little bit of that a little later, right?
Right. I hit up Piken after I finished Nolani, so I think we just flipped the order.
Right.
How we decided to run things.
Yeah, let's talk about Diesa and Piken Square and all that, and then finish the episode with Nolani Academy mission. Okay. So I left from Nolani Academy and ran all the way to Piken because I wanted to use the higher level henchmen.
Smart.
They're level 8 at Nolani Academy, whereas they're only level 6 in Piken Square. And they're only level 3 in Ascalon. Can you imagine trying to get to Piken Square with the level 3 henchmen out of Ascalon?
I ran out of Ascalon City forgetting to even take henchmen with me.
I mean, by this point, you're what, like level 9 or 10?
I was like level 9. It was like me and my cat, Amnesia. And
honestly, you don't need him at that point.
I was like, oh my gosh, I have well, it doesn't matter. They're only level 3 or 4 enemies. I'm not even getting XP from them at this point. It's just a matter of don't over aggro to make things a little bit tricky. And once I got into the Breach to try and find my way to Piken, then things got a little spicy because there were a lot of char.
Did you end up like just running past them to Piken?
No, because I had no henchmen with me. So it was me and my Melandra Stalker. And I basically let the cat go in and tank for me. It died. I would bring it back to life, and I just focused on whittling down the char one at a time until I found the little Ascalonian hunter or ranger or something who can lead you to the right path to get to Piken Square.
So is the path they lead you on like completely char free, or is it just less char?
It has like 2 char. And it takes you through some of the tar water.
Right, yeah, you got to run through the tar water. Still, if you're by yourself, preferable, right? Yeah, I went through Diesa, and then all the way to through the Breach to Piken. Definitely the long way, But I got some good XP for killing things, and I was able to unlock the Greenwich Courthouse outpost in Dehesa Lowlands, which I knew about, and I was like, I want that, because when he wants me to go get Althea's Ashes, I'm going to need it.
Yeah.
So I unlocked that, and we'll talk about... you ended up getting to Greenwich Courthouse a little later, right?
I did, yes.
It's a weird place, isn't it?
Yes. The thing that stood out to me, I think, which stood out to you as well, is the humming of those, like, pylons, those flamey pylons.
Yeah.
They're just hanging out in there, and they've got, like, what looks like a seal of a dragon, maybe?
It looks like it looks like the Mortal Kombat dragon.
Yeah.
Is what it looks like.
It kind of looks a little skeletal, but if you look at the, like, the original Guild Wars 2 logo, it kind of has that kind of dragon-y face.
Yeah, so the dragon face is interesting you brought that up, because when you sent it to me earlier and I was looking at it, I was like, you know what that looks like? That looks like the dragon face that is the Herald specialization logo in Guild Wars 2.
Oh, that's very true.
And you were theorizing that it's a representation of Glint, which Herald is 100% the Glint legend
it is.
For Revenant. Yeah. So I'm thinking that you're right. Thinking it's Glint.
Yeah, I think it might be a Glint reference.
One of the lore masters can confirm or deny.
Yeah. But the thing is that those pylons, they glow. They've got like a reddish glow to them, and they have this hum to them. It's.
I can't think of another outpost in the game that has this latent hum. In the background. It's very. It's eerie.
It's very eerie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ominous.
And it makes you wonder what the heck's going on at the courthouse. Why they've got this dragon stuff, but
don't want to scare you into confessing. It's an intimidation tactic.
Maybe. But this also so this Greenwich Courthouse leads you to the flame what is it? The flame corridor?
The Flame Temple Corridor.
Flame Temple Corridor, yeah. I was almost said Flame Scepter, and I knew that was wrong. The Flame Temple Corridor, and then Flame Temple Corridor, if you go in, it's got a connection to Dragon's Gullet.
Did you go to Dragon's Gullet?
I did, because I was like, Dragon's Gullet? I don't remember this.
Have you ever... So, as far as I'm aware, there is not a single quest that takes you to Dragon's Gullet.
Not from Prophecies, but I went and checked the wiki, and I think there is there's a later quest.
Like something they added later.
Later in Prophecies, I think, or even.
Oh yeah. The post endgame quest where the Titans attack. Yes, 100%. Yeah. You do have to go to Dragon's Gullet to do that.
We will talk about Dragon's Gullet later on in the future of Tyria. Then, once we get to that part of the game,
we will talk about it in Tyria. Then,
yes.
Yeah, I didn't go to Dragon's Gullet because I was like, I don't have time for that. I just went straight to... I unlocked the Greenwich Courthouse, and then I went over to Pike and Square, where you get the quests, the quest chain that's going to eventually take you to Flame Temple Corridor. Yeah. There's a bunch of quests at Piken. A few of them are interesting. A lot of them are just like military operations against the Char, which are just going out and killing Char. I helped a ranger named Aiden go behind enemy lines and kill Char.
Yeah, he's helpful.
He's a guy that's going to come up again.
Yep.
So I felt the need to help him. I rescued a guy named Old Mac and his Devourer pet. And I was given the skill Mighty Blow, which has enhanced my gameplay quite a bit. It does like plus 30 damage. It's amazing. Good. Yeah, that's fantastic. I failed that quest initially. I didn't realize that he was going to... Because the guy sends you out looking for a corpse. And it turns out Old Mac is alive. That's like the twist in the quest, right? And I foolishly did not see it coming, so I didn't realize he was getting attacked. So I had to restart that.
Yeah.
And then there's a few quests that take you out to Diesa to kill some Char. They're like they're good XP. They're worth like 1,000 XP.
There's a lot of Char killing quests out of Piken.
Yeah, they're very mundane. So Piken Square is like it's a little closet of an outpost. It's got like some dead hedges in it, which is funny. Mm-hmm. It looks like the outside of a mall, kind of.
Yeah, it's true. It does.
There's like a serious urban decay going on in Piken Square. It looks like it should have like dirty outdoor like tables and chairs where people would sit down to eat their food court food.
Cigarette butts on the floor all everywhere.
Yeah, those trash cans that have like the stone encasing. Yeah. It looks really awful.
But there's some good meaty quests out there, like meaty XP wise quests out of Piken as well.
Yeah, if you want to level up, you go to Piken Square straight up. Did you do? I think we both did Red Cloaked Deserter, right?
Yes.
For Miss Farah Capo.
Yes, who's very upset that little Tom, deserted their unit after they crossed over the wall, and she's ticked off. So she sends you off to find him in Regent Valley, and report back. Because she's like, where's his honor? Where's his pride? Tell him I'm gonna come for him if he doesn't get his ass back here, pretty much.
And we meet both Farah Capo and Little Tom in pre-searing Ascalon. Farah Capo is in Green Hills County, I want to say, or Lake. Listen, I don't know which one it is.
They're both in Lakeside. Lakeside.
Yeah, Little Tom is in the Barradin estate. He's an axe mastery guy. There, you get Executioner's Strike from him. He's the guy that gave you that quest to kill the Etten that was absurdly easy. That was from Little Tom. My man. Yeah. But yeah, he apparently is deserted, and Farah Capo knows about it, and we got to go to Regent Valley to find him. And what happens when you track him down at the quest marker?
So you find the corpse of Little Tom, is what the little dead corpse on the ground says, and you interact with it, and your character says, "Oh no, this must be the corpse of Little Tom." And I'm like, wow.
The character's like, "Oh no!" All the voice acting. This scene isn't voice acted, but it reminded me of the fact that all the voice acting for all the characters in this game is like aggressively West Coast American. There's no on most fantasy games have they've got like all the different English accents usually. Right. Everyone in all the characters in Guild Wars Prophecies sound like me. Pretty much. It's like me voice acting an entire fantasy video game badly. It's very special. But
you find out that you find a badge on him, right? Which you take back to Farah, and you're like, "Hey, found his corpse. Here's his badge." And she's like, "That's not him." Why?
Yeah. Because she says she knows for a fact he lost the badge gambling.
Yeah, 2 nights before they crossed the wall. And so she's like, "No, he's not dead. I don't believe it." So she refuses to believe it because she's holding on to that hope that she's going to be able to kick his ass.
Yeah, she's gonna give him a spanking.
Yeah, she's kind of she holds a grudge.
Yeah, she's very blindly dedicated to the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
And she just doesn't understand why Little Tom would run off. Maybe we'll find Little Tom at some point in the future. Who knows? Maybe this will come back up. I don't know if Farah Capo comes back up.
I can't remember.
Maybe she does.
I have a feeling she does come back up somewhere.
Maybe she's hanging out at like Beacon Perch or something.
We'll keep an eye out for her though.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye out for so many NPCs that are never gonna come back up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking keep an eye out though, damn it. Yeah. So yeah, that quest you do it, but it also goes nowhere at the same time. Like many quests in Guild Wars. And then I think we both have finally done. Miko, you just did it. We've both done the Duke's Daughter and Althea's Ashes quest chain.
Yes, you pick up Duke's Daughter from Vigo, like Mortensen, but just Vigo. And that's a good 2000 XP quest. and you have to go into DSLO as he charges you with finding out what happened to Althea.
Lady Althea. Yeah,
Yes.
Which I don't know if we mentioned it at the top of the episode, but part of the reason Rurik is running off full tilt is because he's looking for Lady Althea, because she's missing, and they are betrothed.
Yes. And so that's why he's kind of using, well, I think we talked about this on the last episode, he's kind of using her capture and going after the Char as like, well, going after the Char as a kind of a cover in a way, to go and actually find her.
Yes. Yeah, she's kind of his, it's hinted at by the podium guy Podium guy is a great way to describe these people, by the way.
Titus is, I think, the one who tells us that he's gone a little half-cocked, to be aware and be careful.
Yeah, so we're informed of that. And what do we find when we get to the quest marker for the Duke's daughter? So
we find her ghost.
Yeah, she is no longer with us.
No, and she tells us that not only was she captured by the Char, but she was burned alive.
Yeah.
And she which is, I mean, this hit me harder this time around, and it's not like I've never done this quest before, but it, for whatever reason, this time, it just, I kind of had to sit with that for a second, like, okay.
That's a nasty way to go.
It is a nasty way to go, and, you know, there's a lot of violence against women happening right now, and so maybe that's why it kind of hit me a bit harder right now. But
it's a little poignant, yeah.
Yeah, very much so. But she tells you that she felt no pain because she thought of her beloved Rurik, whilst the flames were licking at her, you know, skin and limbs and everything. And I'm like, okay, Joan of Arc, what's going on there?
Very Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
Incredibly
yeah.
so. Mm-hmm. I wonder if the same goes for Rurik. He just charges into hordes of Char by himself because he feels no pain because he thinks of Lady Althea.
Oh.
He's invincible.
Yeah.
Except he's not.
No, but he does do a lot of trash talking when he's going after the Char, which is kind of fun.
He does, yeah. I didn't mention in the Ruins of Sirmia mission, he at one point I saw him say, this little speech bubble comes up above his head that says, "I am the cleaver," which is incredible. That's an incredible thing for a person to say.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
Yeah. He's very confident, self-confident. Yeah, so Althea is dead, has been burned alive. You've got to go back, and you don't turn the quest into Vigo. You have to go and tell the Duke.
Yeah, you got to tell him.
Is dead.
Yep. How did he react to that for you?
He was, you know, he's a little bit in shock, but he's just like, oh no, please bring her back.
Yeah,
please at least recover her ashes.
I turned it into him, and he didn't seem all that broken up about it. They probably just didn't, like, the devs making the quest probably were like, just have him say something, right? Yeah. I was like, this could have been, there could have been more here.
Yeah. Because he's like, I've been thinking about that story you told me about my daughter's ghost. Like, it's an aside. He's just
right. Yeah.
I've kind of been thinking about that chicken sandwich I ate for lunch.
He's like, man, we should go get my daughter's ashes. Come to think of it.
Yeah, he does want her to be able to rest properly. So if you can, please go and recover her ashes. And so he sends you off to the Flame Temple corridor to go gather him, and gives you the urn to bring them back in.
Quite the difficult task recovering these ashes.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to leave from Pike and Square with level 6 henchmen, though.
No, that would be a disaster. Is that what you did, or did you get the henchmen from Greenwich?
I got the henchmen from Greenwich.
Yes. Yeah,
because they are level 8.
Yes, much better equipped for doing this, and I still died a bunch doing this.
So my the advantage of being a ranger is that you can hang back. I just had to kind of move in a little bit closer so that Stefan, my warrior, could go in. He died, but Alicia got him back. I was able to flag my henchmen because Did you notice that when you run into Flame Temple Corridor, there's like a bunch of, what, 6 maybe Ascalon strikers that just show up?
Yes.
And I was like, I don't remember you guys. What are you doing here? Hanging out? And I think that they're there to basically kind of help you thin out the crowd of Char to get to her ashes.
They are, and I stopped, I went to my other monitor to take a note on something, and by the time I looked back, they had all gotten themselves
killed. They were
killed.
dead. Yeah, because they don't stop. They just take out Char and keep going. That's their AI.
Yeah, and they're good for, but without you to help them, they are good for about a group and a half of Char.
yeah. So, I was trying to make sure that I stuck with them, so at least maybe Alicia would decide to throw a heal their way. But at the end, I ended up losing them all, but it didn't matter. But by that time, we'd thinned out the initial group enough that I could kind of sit at the bottom of the stairs, and I didn't charge up the stairs to take out the group at the top by the altar where her ashes were located. But I did. I was like, well, there's no pulling that group because they're just all going to come down. So I tried to just manage it as best I could by not letting all of my henchmen charge up the hill at once.
Yeah, I had to take the hill as well. I had to be the warrior.
Right.
It was disastrous. We wiped. I had to do it in 2 sessions. I wiped and then I came back and finished it up. Because there's just a lot of guys up there.
Yeah, it's good. It's helpful that there's a res shrine like right next to that little hill.
Yeah, they kind of do, like the res shrine is kind of guaranteed to be at least nearby because the zone is the size of a thimble. Mm-hmm. It's a very small zone with a very high number of enemies packed into it.
Yes.
But yeah, I was able to get her ashes and bring them back. What did you do with her ashes when you brought them back?
I went over to Baradin and basically gave them to him, and he's just like, "Thank you, my darling, my poor dear daughter." And he just says, "You have my thanks," and that's it. It's like 2 sentences.
Oh, I sold the ashes to noobs for 50 gold.
Shut up.
No, I turned the quest in. Because it's good for... That's something that people used to do with Althea's ashes. It's like a meme.
Oh my gosh.
You don't remember going to Pike Square and just having the chat box filled with selling Althea's ashes, 50 gold? Yeah. Well, because the quest is 2,000 XP, but you have to go super far to do it. So lazy people would cop themselves a pile of ashes for 50 gold and get their free 2,000 XP.
Yeah, that's true.
And enterprising individuals would run from Grenditch. They do ash runs from Grenditch. Because the ashes will respawn once they're not in your inventory anymore. So you run from Grenditch, you get the ashes, you sell them, and then you rinse and repeat. Classic, like level 11 player money making scheme.
See, I didn't know about this because I came to the game late, and
yeah,
I tended to turn off map chat in the outpost. Mm-hmm. I had some random monk in my playthrough for this episode, just kind of trade. Yeah, he'd open up the trade window and he traded me 1 gold, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? It's a gold. You're not giving me a lot of... What are you doing? Like, and that's all he wanted to give me was a gold, and I was like, okay, go away now.
My man's just out here doing the Lord's work.
I guess. He's just like, she's low level, she must not have any gold, and I'm like, I have an entire account. I have like 45 plat just sitting in my bank that I'm just not touching because I'm trying to like do the playthrough the right way.
I like this man. I like this generous monk. What a lad.
Whatever he is, thank you for the 1 gold, which I think I tried to trade him back and he wouldn't take it.
I have been impressed by how many players I see in the game. Like, there were, like, people in Pike Square. Like, not a lot of people. There were, like, 3 people. But there were people. They were, like, running around.
There's still people playing this game. Yes.
Yeah, 100%. There was, like, 5 or so people in Ascalon City. Like, there's people out there playing Guild Wars. It's fucking nuts.
It's cool.
Yeah. So we did that quest. You get a lot of XP, 2,000 per, so it's, like, a good 4,000 XP.
Yep.
I did a bunch of quests in, like, old Ascalon that I hadn't done before. I had to get a shitload of wood planks for one of them. Really annoying. And then I did that, I think we both did casualty report, where you gotta go talk to Sir Titus and let him know that people are dying north of the wall.
Yeah, Titus is not having it that Baradin kind of is doing his own thing with the Ascalon Vanguard.
Yeah.
Trying to take it to the Char.
Yeah, what we learned from Casualty Report is Duke Baradin has essentially taken the Ascalon Vanguard. He's captured Pike Square, and he's set it up as like his forward assault base, and he's kind of gone rogue with the Vanguard, and he's fighting his like own private war with the Char up there.
Yeah, and you can pick up a couple more quests from, I think it's Captain Aim or Amy, in Ascalon City, and he also is telling you like, I'm with the Ascalon Vanguard. You know, I'm one of basically Baradin's guys, but we lost touch. Can you find him? And also I'm trying to recruit. Can you go get me some equipment?
Yeah, that's the one where you have to go to Regent Valley to get that merchant supplies, and the merchant is kind of like an oily, like snake oil salesman type.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I did that one last episode, and I don't think I mentioned it, but I did do it.
Yeah, so there are some political factions at work here. You've basically got Adalburn's supporters, and then you've got like the Rurik supporters. So there's a struggle going on within Ascalon for the direction to take this war with the Char. Yes,
Guild Wars Prophecies is of course known as a gripping political thriller. So stay tuned for much more of the quests involving reporting casualties from one political faction to the other.
Yeah.
Fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
And everything else in Piken was more or less just kill Char. There was kind of a funny quest where it's called Supplies for the Duke. I had to go out into the breach and rescue this supply caravan. There's a lot of caravan rescuing.
Yeah.
And they spawn right next to a Char group with an Elementalist boss. And I was like, it'll be fine. I lost like half of them immediately. But luckily that was the only hard group, so I did manage to get like 2 of them back to Pike Square, so I completed the quest. But it was very trollish, the way the quest was positioned in direct proximity to a boss group. It would have had to just be a very long run to go like the other way, and I could not be bothered. So I powered through it. But yeah, I think that's most of the questing I did. And then
those are the memorable ones for sure.
Yeah, like I said, just a bunch of cleaning the Char out of the breach zone. Very repetitive stuff. But I wanted the XP.
Yeah, well, and it's a good place also to pick up some skill rewards for quests if you're wanting to save your gold.
My skill bar is finally like looking over, like I have a skill combo I can hit, right? Like I can smash 4 Great Justice and then hit my Mighty Blow, which charges up my Hammer Bash. Like, phew, that's a build, baby.
That is.
It's a 3 skill build. And so that's kind of what I'm doing right now, is those 3 skills constitute 90% of my button pressing. I am skill clicking.
I am as well.
Just because I've been on Guild Wars 2 for so long, I can't remember how to play this game with number keys, so I'm clicking.
I think, I didn't start doing button pressing for skills until I got to Guild Wars 2. And even at the start of my playthrough of Guild Wars 2, I was skill clicking, because that's what I did in Guild Wars 1.
Yeah, Guild Wars 1 is totally clickable.
Yeah,
you can absolutely get through the whole game skill clicking in Guild Wars 1, no doubt.
Yeah.
And then I think the last thing for us to do to clean up this episode is the Nolani Academy mission.
Yeah, that is the big second mission of this part of the story. What are our objectives? We've got to go and we've got to return Prince Rurik south of the wall to safety. That's the main objective.
Yep. He wants to go to Rin to speak with Adalburn.
Right.
And we need to find Stormcaller to fit the mouthpiece on and give it a good blow.
Right. Because he's convinced, after they found it, that this is going to be their way end the Char once and for all.
Yeah, I think you said that Flaming Scepter Mage Danon says that, like, legend says it can defeat Ascalon's enemies. That's, like, not factual information, right?
It will render helpless the enemies of Ascalon.
Yeah, we're basing this on very flimsy evidence. I don't know. I'm not convinced by Stormcaller, but we're going for it.
Yeah. We want that Horn of Helm's Deep.
Exactly. Moment. Yeah.
We want to live into Tolkien's world here, but this is ArenaNet's world, so I'm not sure.
Instead of riding out with King Theoden, we kind of sneak out the back with Prince Rurik.
We do, yes. And,
because we have to sneak out the back because there is a big army of Char besieging Nolani Academy. Mm-hmm. So we got to sneak out and around, kind of like this whole mission is Helm's Deep because it's kind of like when Aragorn and Gimli sneak out the little side door, right? And hit him from the side on the ramp. We kind of do that maneuver here, but with a lot more stops along the way because War Master Kasana has stolen the Tome of the Fallen, and whatever that is, right? And the bonus objective is to return the Tome of the Fallen from whence it was taken. And there's a fuckload of Devourers on the way there, and then there's a fuckload of Ghosts when you get there. Yeah. And the Ghosts are all level 10 and have a lot of health and a lot of armor. And they just take forever to whittle down, and it's just not a fun time.
They're all warriors, and they are mad. They are mad that they're the Tome of the Fallen, which is a tome that is, it holds the names of the fallen during the defense of the Great Northern Wall. So they're basically like, that's their memorial. Like, so they're pissed off that the tome is gone, because that's where their names are recorded. So you've got to appease the ghosts, basically return the tome, and then that will make them chill out.
Yep. And did you just like slowly work your way through the ghosts and then return the tome?
Yes, because even if I'd wanted to, Devourers kept popping up. A lot of Devourers. And so I was like, great. So I've got to fight the ghosts and the Devourers. I can't just run over. I actually have to kill things.
Yeah,
like, give me the XP.
Yeah, having sprint on my skill bar kind of made me overconfident, and I was like, I'll just run it in. It'll be fine. I very nearly died.
Oh dear.
I had to flag the henchman in, otherwise I would have been toast. So I did manage to survive. I did manage to return the tome, and the spirit that you return the tome to mentions the Flameseeker prophecies, and he says, "Heed the words of the prophet."
Yeah.
Ominous foreshadowing.
Yeah, so we've got now Mirak telling us about that, and now this guy.
Yep, and we've got weird little dragons on weird little pylons in Greenwich Courthouse.
Yeah.
Did you find the area out in Diesa Lowlands with more pylons?
No.
Yeah, there's a little shed out in like the middle of buttfuck nowhere, Diesa Lowlands.
I'm gonna have to go find that shed.
Yeah, I could not even begin to tell you where it is in the map, but I'm sure the wiki can.
Yeah, probably. So we've got the shed out in nowhere. We've got the Greenwich Courthouse. We had, what's his name, who wanted the armor back from Great Northern Wall,
Testebri, whose pylons are very similar looking to the Greenwich Courthouse ones.
Yeah, they've got that reddish glowy.
I don't think they have the dragons, but they got the reddish glowy.
Yeah, did they hum? I couldn't remember. I can't remember.
I don't remember either. Yeah, I don't remember.
But yeah, so there's a theme happening here. Yeah. So what is happening?
I'm just saying, Flame Keepers, Flame Seeker. Something's happening here. Okay.
Something with fire.
Yeah, something with flames, something with seeking, something with keeping.
Yeah.
Arena, they're laying it on thick, and not all of it is necessarily connected.
No, but we'll continue playing the game to see where they're going.
Bingo.
So after you returned the tome, did you go back to find?
Yeah.
Continue on?
I must have run around this mission trying to figure out where to go for like 25 minutes.
Yeah, I pulled up the wiki because I needed the map. It's a very confusing, like, pathing. Because you're doing a lot of zigging and a zagging.
And at the beginning, there's a lot of, this is up here, you're down here. Where's the path to go from down here to up there?
So he initially, he being Rurik, tells you, go take out the rangers that are out on the eastern front of the academy. You want to take them out on the eastern side of the wall. Take them out and then we'll be able to do something. But there's also, and I found this out today when I was doing screenshots, there's a lever you can pull to open up the gate, and then our mages will let the char come in, and you can just kill a whole bunch right there and clear out the whole little encampment from the front.
Oh, okay. So you can open the gate if you want to, if you think you can take the pain.
I guess so, yeah.
I wish I'd have known that, because I probably could have made it work.
Yeah, I wish I'd have known that as well before I finished the mission.
I mean, but, I guess we would have to still have run the whole way, though, because we wanted to do the bonus.
Right. But still, yeah. So that was in the name of screenshot taking science. I was like, what does this lever do?
So the thumbnail is from Nolani Academy. It's not from Ruins of Sirmia.
Correct.
That is good to know. Everybody, trivia for this episode. That's where the thumbnail's from.
Oh. Yep.
And so we take out the attacking forces around Nolani Academy. I had to do a little bit of, I went up on one hill, killed one group, went up on the other hill, killed that group, and then I killed the group in the middle. I think there was a boss. I think that's where Blaze Bloodbane is, actually. The boss spawn order might be random, but Bonfaz Burnt Fur is always going to be the end
Always
boss.
going to be your last guy.
Because I think he's technically the leader of the Flame Legion Char.
Yeah, he was the one who was the main guy who did the searing, wasn't he?
He is the perpetrator of the searing.
He's the perpetrator, yes.
Yeah,
that was a good
he
word.
is the ritual leader. It's him standing... When we see them doing the searing in the cutscene, that's Bonfaz Burnt Fur, standing over the cauldron, conducting the Symphony of Destruction.
Right, so we really do want to take him out.
Yeah, no, we've got a grudge. And you can fight all these bosses in pre-searing. They are north of the wall, standing around the searing cauldron. Bonfaz Burnt Fur, Blaze Bloodbane. Awesome fucking names, by the way.
Yeah.
Red Eye the Unholy, and the Mesmer guy, whose name is not nearly as interesting. They are all...
Not a Chayot, yeah.
Yeah, Boss Chayot, Big Daddy Chayot. They're all available to kill in pre-searing. They have unique pre-searing drops. You can get char bags from these guys in pre-searing, which are big inventory bags for free. And fun little salvage kits that you can use if you want to live in pre-searing instead of moving on like a normal person.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. My cat is playing with his bell toy.
Oh, that's okay. Mine came over and was meowing at me, and she wanted some food because that's what she wants.
I can't edit the bell noises out, guys. They're staying in.
It's okay. So once we've gone and so we've now returned the tome, we've made our way back because we found our way back to Rurik. It is now time for him to do what he does and take off running after Char. And what does he tell you, Aaron?
He goes ballistic here. And after we kill the army outside Nolani, Rurik is now on his own AI script, and he just runs. And you have to keep up with him. You have to protect him. He will run ahead. He will get himself killed. You take him to the wall, a section of the wall where we need to go through a gate to talk to Adelburn. And the gate guard is like, the king himself told me not to let anyone through. And Rurik's like, the king can go fuck himself. Right? And the guard's like, oh,
he's just like,
okay.
I'm telling you.
I guess I don't have a choice. And as we're running away, the gate guard's like, you'll tell the king that I didn't have a choice, right? You'll tell him. Yeah. And we kind of just leave him wondering. He doesn't want to
lose his job either. I mean, come on.
No, yeah, and we kind of just leave him there wondering, oh God, am I fired? Right?
Right.
So we go talk to Adelburn. Do we blow the horn or do we talk to Adelburn first?
No, Alburn shows up after.
At the end. So we go to the horn.
Right.
Mission's running together for me. Yeah, we go to the horn. We pop the mouthpiece to the Stormcaller onto Stormcaller. Stormcaller, very big horn. It's like, kind of looks like a bobsledding track, right? It just like runs down a hill. That's how big it is.
Yeah.
It looks like a water slide, is what it looks like. And did you, when you redid the mission, did you actually do the cutscene this time for the horn? No?
I took my screenshots and I exited.
Right, so you still have not witnessed the glory that is blowing the Stormcaller.
No. Well, continue on and I'll tell them about the alternate path because I was, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't want Rurik to die.
So once you get Rurik to the Stormcaller, we blow this thing, and it's like, right? Just like the movie. And except it brings down, so you'd think Errol tells us that this horn can destroy the Char. Danon tells us that it will render Ascalon's enemies helpless. Yeah. When you blow this horn, it starts like lightly raining. That's as far as I can tell. That's all that happens is like a slight drizzle starts falling from the sky. Now, I guess the idea is that this like puts out all the Char's like magical flames that they draw power from.
Right.
They seem just as powerful to me as they were before the rain. I don't know.
Yeah.
But apparently this allows us to kill more Char, even though I've been doing perfectly fine. I don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So we blow the horn. We start a sprinkling of summer rain. And we now need to go kill Bonfaz Burntfur, the leader of the Flame Legion. We pretty much just blow through Char until we get to him, and we slaughter him. He's pretty easy. He's level 10, but bosses do not do double damage in Prophecies like they do in Factions and Nightfall, so he's not that hard.
Right. So I remembered, and not fondly, that Rurik... I think he did suicide himself a few times when I first ran this mission, when I first started playing. So when the wiki said there is an alternate path, which doesn't require you having to follow Rurik and his suicidal tendencies, I went, sign me up. I will skip the Stormcaller cinematic after we go through the gate on that poor, helpless, foot soldier. And I will happily not have to deal with Rurik trying to kill himself. And I will go straight for Bonfaz Burntfur along a path that has one Char up a stairs, and you take that guy out, and then you have basically a free and clear line straight to Burntfur, and you just take him out.
I sense cheese.
Yeah.
You cheesed it.
And I did. And it was fine.
You engaged in like a Wallace and Gromit level of cheese.
It's okay. I accept it because I didn't want Rurik to go and do what he did to me so many times before.
I mean, it's one of those things where like I don't care about cheese, right? Like I've engaged so much cheese in getting all my titles and stuff for Guild Wars. Yeah. As we go through Prophecies, we're going to find that we're going to soon have to start choosing between like, do I engage in the cornball shit that I need to do to get this mission bonus done with henchmen, or do I just skip it? That's going to be a dilemma we face.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to run these missions when you've got heroes that you can build their own skills and you can give them builds.
You can just flag them to the end of the mission map and they will do the mission for you while you go make tea or whatever.
Right. The henchmen, not so much, because they don't have, like you said, they don't have a full skill bar. They can die, and they often do. So you have to micromanage them if you want to succeed.
Yeah, you gotta constantly flag them in and out. It's and they're just bad. Like they not only do they not have a full skill bar, they don't have a cohesive build. Right? They just like Orion just has like a couple fire skills, He hits pretty hard, but they're just a couple fire skills. Holds up fine now, doesn't hold up so fine when you get to the higher level content in the game.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to start making some choices. But once we're through with Nolani, which let's talk about the end of Nolani, because Stormcaller gets blown, burnt fur gets taken out, and who shows up?
The man himself.
The man himself. The
Big A.
Daddy. Big A, yes.
Yeah.
And it is King Adalbern. He is happy to see his son. He thinks that it's great. Look at what we've done. You took out the Char. And Rurik has apparently seen the light. And now starts telling him, hey, Dad, I think that going after the Char is kind of not a good idea. Maybe we should go and talk to the Crichtons for some help. It's
such a bizarre, turnaround.
Yeah.
Because this whole time, Rurik's been like, we're going, we're moving, we're killing Char, we're pushing, we're going to win. And then we blow this big horn, we kill Bonjaz Burntfur, everything is looking good, and Rurik's like, I think we should give up.
Yeah, I want a Char-free life. So let's save the people of Ascalon. Which, commendable, saving the people of Ascalon. But at the same time, it's like, what about Althea? You don't know that she's dead because we haven't told you.
Yeah, no, there's nothing about... I don't know that Althea ever comes up again. Yeah, I don't know that that's ever resolved.
Yeah, no. So this turn, this change in Rurik, I'm a little mystified by. So we don't see that inner monologue or whatever. Whatever changed his mind, it had happened off screen in his head, and it didn't get communicated to me. Because he's been out there saying, what did he say? I'm the cleaver.
I am the cleaver.
And he's been happily just hacking at the Char, and now all of a sudden he's like, let's go, people of Ren. Let's don't follow your king.
You can't go from you can't go from the cleaver to let's go over the mountains and make a settlement, right?
Yeah.
You're either one or the other, bro.
So Adalbern not happy to be hearing this.
No. Unhappy is an understatement.
Pretty much. He disowns him.
He does, yeah.
And banishes him from Ascalon.
He does, yeah. And we opt to follow Rurik. Rurik says he wants to go over the mountains to Kryta and start a new life where the Char can't get him and give him bad dreams and tummy aches.
Right.
And we're going to go with him. He's giving this speech like he's got a crowd gathered, but there's 6 people there. Yeah,
people of Ren, all 5 of you. And my homies over here, Aaron and Miko Riel, y'all come with me.
Exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things where the game engine just they just couldn't do that many NPCs. Bless them.
So we're like, okay, let's go. We're gonna go follow Rurik because this is what we do because we're in his vanguard.
Yes, we kind of just trail around it and keep him from getting himself killed.
Yeah.
And then the mission ends. And we are spawned into a snowy area.
Yes. Yaks Bend.
Yaks Bend. We're going to have to talk about dull yaks next episode.
I know. But the thing that... It's funny because when I spawned into Yaks Bend, I got that same excitement that when I had first reached Yaks Bend on my first playthrough. I was like, yes, I've made it to Yaks Bend!
You really feel like you earned it,
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
And it's a transition from one segment of the game to another segment of the game. We're going from the 4-person party segment to the 6-person party segment.
Yeah, so
we're big kids now.
Yeah, shit's starting to get serious.
Yeah, we're like teenagers now.
Yes. Here we go.
Because we're going to go from 6 to 8 at one point. So 6 is not the end, but yeah, our party size is expanded now, 6 people. So next episode, we're going to be 6-manning it around the snowy northern Shiver Peaks, where we try to get across the mountains with Rurik and Ascalonian settlers in tow. And I think that's pretty much covered it for this episode. There's a lot of like quests you can take in Yak's Bend. I was looking around. There's a lot of green exclamation marks, things to click. I bought a new hammer before I logged out that has armor against dwarves. I think we're going to be running into some dwarves.
Right.
And I think that pretty much brings us to a close for episode 3. Somehow, when we first recorded this, we did like a tight 90 minutes. We've gone way over this time. We somehow made it longer the second take through. So
that's all right. We'd said at the beginning that we tightened things up, but really we just waffled a little.
Yeah,
okay.
Really, the loose screws have fallen off, if anything else. Yeah.
It's all right.
So, social media promotion. Where can you find the Tyria Then podcast, Miko?
The Tyria Then podcast can be found on the Tyria Now channel.
Hell yeah.
On YouTube. Yes, because we are Tyria Now. Find us on YouTube on Tyria Now. Find us on Twitter, Tyria Now. On Spotify, Tyria Now. And on Apple Podcasts, Tyria Now.
Absolutely. And if you want to talk to me on Twitter, tweet at Tyria Now, because that's the only way I do Twitter. Right. I do question of the day on Tyria Now's Twitter. They're all Guild Wars questions. If you want to do that, come by and do that. The responses are interesting, and they fill my day. Yeah. And then, Miko, where are you on Twitter personally?
You can find me at Inky Sticks, and I will. I also do follow along to see what's happening on the Tyria Now, Twitter account. So if you've got an interesting response to one of the question of the day, I'll probably like your post.
Free engagement,
I try to reply if I don't think I've actually replied to anyone. I have retweeted a couple, I think, of interesting responses, but Aaron is Johnny on the spot responding to people, so I feel like he's doing it for us. Thank you, Aaron.
Sometimes it's many hours later, but it happens, and that's what's important. Also, follow our music guy, Arctic's Booze Bus, on YouTube. He does the music for the show that you hear at the beginning and end. He has a whole music channel full of incredibly inappropriate music, so if that floats your boat, go on over there and give him a follow at Arctic's Booze Bus on Twitter and YouTube. And I think that will about cover it for us. We will see everybody for episode 4, Northern Shiver Peaks time. Until then, we will see everybody later. Bye, guys.
Bye.